We certainly need to do a better job of taking care of the basketball, but that's a good Pikeville team. I mean, they're number one in the country at their level for a reason. You probably saw the first 12, 14 minutes of their game against Kentucky last night, and they play hard. They're well coached, they're tough, they're athletic. The one kid, Simmons, man, he puts on a show and he makes some tough shots, but I think the biggest thing with our team is too many turnovers, not enough steals and deflections in our press or in our half-court defense. And it's tough for me right now. I've got to do a better job because it's so early in the season and so many guys are basically even at their position. I felt like I wasn't really maybe letting guys get into a rhythm because I was trying to play a bunch of different folks. So that was a little challenging tonight, but we did some good things. At one time I looked out there, I think we had 4 freshmen on the floor at the same time, and we were playing pretty well. So it's a young group, and we'll continue to get better.
Donnie, it looked like Josh was running point most of the night. Is that something you're experimenting with, or is that what he's going to be doing moving forward?
Yeah, we kind of made that move the last couple of weeks. You know, we talked all preseason about Kevin Punter, and then one day we just kind of threw Josh out there, and he was pretty solid, and he embraces that role more than maybe I thought he would. He puts the ball in our best players' hands more often, but I think everybody could see we just really don't have a natural point guard. Now, he'll get better. And Kevin will get better as the year goes along as well, but we just don't have that natural playmaker, and so we're going to have to do some things and tweak some things as we move along offensively to help with that.
So John, how much did the starting lineup reflect reality, and how much was it just you want to get a look at guys like Derek and Woodson and Rock in particular?
You know, those guys have earned that right to start to this point. You know, a lot of positions it could have went either way leading up to the game tonight, but those guys have been healthy. I never really feel comfortable starting a guy like Armani who's missed 4, 5, 6 practices over the last couple of weeks. I think at some point he'll get that position back, maybe sooner than later. But those guys have earned it in practice, and that's the way I've always done things. If you compete and beat guys out on the practice floor, you get the first chance in the game. So maybe it'll be different next game. We'll see how this week of practice goes.
Armani, 17 points, 8 of 10 shooting. Do you think he can do that in a, not an exhibition game against an SEC team?
Well, Armani's an efficient player. I mean, going 8 for 10 against league competition is hard for anybody, but I do think he's an efficient guy. I think he takes care of the basketball. He's a good passer. He's tough and he's physical. Now tonight against a little bit of an undersized team, maybe he gets away with some things he won't on other nights. But with that being said, I think then he'll do some other things to try to help our team.
What was you saw specifically from Josh the last couple of weeks that made you decide maybe this is a new role?
Well, I think it's twofold, Steve. The biggest thing is Josh seems to like playing the spot. And it gives Kevin a chance to be off the ball where there's really no question he's better at that 2 spot than he is at the point. So with that being said, Kevin's still going to have to play some point, and Josh will continue to get better and better as the year goes along.
What was it like for you to just be out there for the first time?
Well, it was exciting. You know, it was an opportunity to let our fans see how we're going to play. I would have liked to play a little bit better, but I thought our kids competed and played hard. We had a lot of guys come in. I guess we played, about almost 11 guys, double-figure minutes. So that's a pretty deep team. Now, obviously, that rotation will start to shorten a little bit as we move forward, but I thought we did some nice things. We had that one time, I think it was Dietrich, maybe Tariq, Willie, maybe a newcomer, Balkman. So 3 freshmen and a newcomer out there at one time, and we had about a 3 or 4 minute stretch that was pretty good. So I think that shows that moving forward as we grow our program, we've got some good young pieces in place.
Wasn't it long ago that you were wondering if you might be registered? Dom starts tonight. Is the team where you want him to be weight-wise, condition-wise, and what does he have left to do?
Well, he's not where we need him to be or where we want him to be yet, but he's made a ton of progress, and I think the biggest thing I can say about Dom is he went from a guy that had the right approach and the right attitude about 2 out of every 3 days, or maybe 4 out of every 6 days, to a guy that's been pretty consistent. He's maybe had one bad day in the last 3 weeks, so because of his approach, because of his mentality, he's getting better. He is, and he's probably about 275, so he's got roughly 23, 24 pounds off of his body since he got here. I'd like to get him at about 270, but his conditioning's improved and his attitude's been fantastic.
What do you make of shooting 61% as a team?
Well, I think, we're an unselfish team. We share the ball. 17 turnovers on 31 made field goals is a good stat. We always try to have 1 assist every 2 made baskets, so that's a pretty good number. And I think we have some pretty good shooters. You look at the guys on our team, probably 5, 6 guys can legitimately make jump shots from behind the arc. But with that being said, 18 turnovers is certainly going to be an Achilles heel if we don't change that from an offensive standpoint.
10:36 to go in the second half. Josh picked up the starting foul in the game. What process is something you would normally do in a regular season game?
Well, I was hoping maybe you'd come out and play a little point because I was desperate. But that's just where we're at this year, and I don't want to use that as a crutch. It's not going to be an excuse, but the bottom line is we're going to have to risk that at times and let him play through it because, let's say the game is tight, 2 or 4 point game, and you take a guy like Josh out because of that 3rd foul with 10 to go. By the time you get him back in with 6 or 7 to go, you might be down 8 or 10 and basically the game's over. So we're going to have to take those chances with where our depth is, especially at that position.
Do you have a feel for when you might be able to sit and say this is going to be your rotation, or do you think it could be something that fluctuates all season?
This is the worst I've felt as a head coach literally in 9 years in regard to having a flow of the game. I mean, I never felt like I was letting guys play through a mistake. I didn't take them out because of a mistake. It just felt like other than Josh, they were in and out, in and out, in and out, and it probably, like I said, there's so many spots that are dead even, Ben, that I'm trying to give everyone a chance to really play and get it on film and watch it tonight and see what we think. But just too many guys to play that many minutes. With that being said, we're a pretty balanced team right now. So it'll start to sort itself out, and we'll have to make some tough decisions, in large part how they do in the next exhibition game and the next couple weeks of practice.
Donnie, what do you think about the defense? I know Simmons is a pretty good player. He's going to put up some points. But aside from that, what do you think?
Well, I thought we were pretty active. We held that team to 35%. I think they were 34% against Kentucky last night. So, I can live with 35%. We always try to make the opponent shoot 40% of their balls from behind the 3-point line, which we accomplished that, or we were really close to that 24-60. Not a math major, but pretty close to 40%. We only turned them over 11 times, though, and we only had 3 steals, Wes. So I just think we need to be more active. We got to do a better job of being active and aggressive in our press. So it's again, an opportunity to get it on film and grow from it.
On offense, it seemed like maybe there were some guys maybe not sure what play, maybe some miscommunication there, maybe getting frustrated. Is that then just still figuring out the offense? Or?
Yeah, and again, sometimes it's guys just being nervous and forgetting what they're supposed to do on that particular assignment. Those first game jitters, like if you watch a guy like Devin Balkman, he can run and jump and play all day, and then get in front of this crowd for the first time tonight, and he looked like he just finished a marathon, and that's not being critical. It's just having been a player, I understand those first games, your mouth is dry, you can hardly breathe, and then when you're tired, you forget your assignment, and that happened a few times tonight, and again, that goes back to that point guard position. As Josh grows more and more comfortable, I think he'll initiate offense and get us in our sets a little bit quicker as well.